Yup, it's Teacher Percept back with another video. As the title promised, I'm here to give you 5 tips that will improve your fighting on Fortnite Mobile. The first tip is to know where you are peeking from and prioritize right hand peeks. Many of you watching right now likely have good mechanics already but don't know how to peek properly. Say you'll do something like this. Boom, look at all these edits, and then you'll peek the window like this and die. The issue simply lies within your peek. You are exposing your full body to the enemy when you don't perform a right hand peek, which gives him an easier shot than you have usually, or neither of y'all have the advantage at all and it's just a neutral peek. Obviously, you won't be able to do this every fight, but a good habit to get into is to move as far left as you can possible on every peek to make sure you minimize damage and don't get hit. When you do this, it is usually virtually impossible for the opponent to deal return damage. Overall, when you're in fights, focus on where your character is. Are you peeking from the right? Are you peeking from the middle, the left, etc.? This knowledge will genuinely help you win more fights and is a beginning step you can take to becoming a better fighter on mobile. These peeks aren't just limited to walls as well. You could perform a double edit right hand peek like this, or a low ground or high ground peek. The opportunities of right hand peeks are endless. Anyways, I'm going on a bit of a tangent. The second tip is to use crosshair editing rather than touch editing. So how does one do this? Something I like to do is use the edit, toggle, and reset button and put it in both my combat HUD mode and my edit HUD mode, so I can switch to edit mode and crosshair editing regardless of if I'm in combat mode or edit mode. In your edit mode, in order to crosshair edit in the first place, you need the targeted edit button. A good spot for this would be where your touch edit button previously was, or your normal edit button you could say, so you don't have to change any muscle memory at all. So the only major adjustment you need to make is using your crosshair to direct the edit rather than your fingers touching the screen. I will note this will probably take time to get used to, say 1 week or 2 weeks, but if you stay committed to it, your edits will be 5 times, 10 times, maybe even freaking 15 times faster than what your edits were on touch edit, just because of how easy and accessible that button is and how easy it is to use your crosshair to edit. The next tip I have is when learning new build moves, focus on precision and accuracy and doing the move correctly before you focus on how fast you are doing it. If you are focusing on the speed of how you're doing the move, it is more likely that you'll mess up and create bad reps or bad habits of doing the move. Say like I just did there. When you go for precision and accuracy and doing the move correctly, you learn the move faster as you are getting in good reps of doing the move, and you are less likely to miss a edit or build or do something incorrect in game when it is very crucial to do the move correctly. A good way to practice this is building in 0.8 or 0.9 speed, which is possible in the Raiders Mechanics training map. Highly recommend this map to anybody trying to get better fighting and such. When on the map, shoot your weapon at this free build circle over here, select 0.8 or 0.9 speed, and then practice that new move that you want to learn and implement into your gameplay. The slow speed of the map will help you do it precise, as it's easier to not mess up an edit when you are editing at a slower pace. The fourth tip I have is when you are learning new moves, practice, repeat that move over and over again to get it drilled into your brain. I like to use Raiders Box Fight Practice Map V2, island code up there, which is basically a map that you can use to practice your edits, peeks, and more, as long as you would like until you learn the move completely. The possibilities really are endless on this map, but this is a drill I like to do, as flipping stairs and cones is really crucial in game for fighting. And I like doing different variations of box fighting drills such as this one. Truth be told, majority of fights in game, especially fights against good players, are box fights, so completing these edits quickly and precisely is crucial in game, which is why I like to practice it in these maps. Something I also like about this map is how similar my FPS is to my in-game FPS. This makes how I build and edit more realistic for an actual game where your FPS is expectedly lower and your input delay may be higher. This is another reason I recommend this map, as in-game you may not get the best FPS or performance from your device, so practicing on lower performance in a risk-free environment can help you become a better player both mechanically and in terms of fighting when performing on this FPS matters the most. The fifth and final tip I have for you guys is to constantly practice fighting against real players and the best players that you can practice fighting against possible. To get the best possible practice, this can be done in ranked, but there are creative maps with similar performance and FPS as in-game, including Tilted Zone Wars and Realistic PvP, both of which consistently have good players that are very mechanical and can fight well. Like the Raiders box fight practice map, the real reason I love these maps is because of the FPS that they deliver. This creates yet another risk-free environment where you can practice your mechanics on realistic in-game FPS and device performance and get punished for doing bad habits, as these are good players. So if you peek something incorrectly, do a bad trade, etc., then you will get punished fast, where you can see and work on issues you have in a game. But getting off the tangent and back to the main point, fighting against high quality, good players will make you a better player, as you can take from what habits they have, and you consistently have to play at the best level possible that you can play, which makes you better overall. Quick bonus tip for those of you that stayed until the end of the video: practicing on higher ping can also improve your fighting, as you get punished way more, just like on that low FPS, for making mistakes. On top of this, it's harder to be mechanical, which means you need to rely on your game sense more, an important factor of the game. To do this, you can simply play on your second highest ping server. Say you're a North American citizen, you can play on Europe. If you're a European citizen, you can play on North America. And yeah, that's the end of this so-called lesson. Like and subscribe if you want more guys, lessons, tips and tricks like this, and that's all I got. Peace out, boys.